Committed, thoughtful, talented, modest, ambitious, loyal, skillful, generous, dedicated, and very fast. There are many, many words that could be used to describe Jonathan Rea, but you won't find many in motorcycle race paddocks around the world with a bad one for him. After virtually running out of money to compete in schoolboy motocross, the 15-year-old from Northern Ireland replied to a 2002 newspaper ad to join a new teenage road racing program on the British mainland. A job followed, and Jonathan rapidly moved up to the British Superbike Series in 2005. In 2009, he moved into the World Superbike Championship, the world's leading motorcycle racing series based on the production sports bikes that you can buy at your local dealer.
The World Superbike Championship is one of the most competitive in the world. You're wrestling a bike 165 kilos around a track, and you cannot be 1/10 off the lap time or you lose the race. And that's how close our sport is.
The two-race format takes place over 14 rounds on 4 continents and attracts entries from no fewer than 7 of the world's leading manufacturers, each pitting their flagship sport bikes against each other. It leads to fierce rivalries in R&D departments and on the world's greatest racetracks. For the next 6 years, Jonathan's talent, now finally honed, delivered superbike race wins and podiums, eventually placing the then 27-year-old third in the championship standings in 2014. But the talent demanded more.
I needed a new challenge. I mean, I've been doing the same thing every single year. For me, my motivation was, running out a little bit, trying more and more and more and achieving the same result. So I needed a change and I needed to do something so badly. I tried to do it the hard way and it hasn't worked.
There's only certain circuits you go to, and it took different circumstances for him to be able to put it on the podium. And that was gut-wrenching to see that.
Many seasoned observers had Jonathan down as one of the best, if not the best rider in the World Superbike paddock. But as he confided to those closest to him, he could never be sure how good he really was until he got one of the best bikes in the paddock. At the end of that year's World Superbike Championship, Kawasaki confirmed the partnership of Jonathan Rea and the ZX-10R for the 2015 season.
They offered me a deal which was like 50% of what I had before. So of course I felt not disrespected, but this was something new and big, and it was a big career decision. But I knew to win, I needed to be with Kawasaki. They have the best track record in the last 3 seasons. I know from experience that you need to be with a factory team to win races.
He didn't even hesitate. It was one of those things that he just thought, this is the bike, this is the team. I just wanted to see him win races and to fight for what he's always dreamed of.
I think both of us knew that given the performance of the Kawasaki over the past years that he was going to come in and win races, and anytime you're winning races, good things come.
I was delighted because it was a proven package. He would be competitive the whole season through at every round. So for me to see him get that was a blessing for him.
The Kawasaki racing team, based near Barcelona in Spain, but fully supported by the Kawasaki factory in Japan, had won the World Superbike Championship with Tom Sykes and the ZX-10R in 2013. It's a tight-knit team with proven success, and was the perfect fit for the determined Northern Irishman who, it seemed, only needed the right tools to realize his undeniable talents.
We already spoke several times. We knew he's one of the best of superbike rider.
But Jonathan still had some reservations.
I had to come alone. I couldn't bring any crew that has been with me for years and years and years in the past, and there was quite a big change for me when I heard that Perry Revo was going to be my crew chief.
And of course this was one of the points that Johnny in the beginning was thinking how will we.
I knew Perry the rider, but I didn't know Perry the crew chief, and maybe I didn't give him the credit he deserves.
Of course it's different to be a technician than to be a rider. This was one of the most important points, to build a good relationship between Johnny and myself.
I was overwhelmed with his knowledge and how he plans out a weekend, and there's method in every idea he has.
I mean, you are so consistent, really consistent, the most, with new tire, old tire.
Without doubt, we have the most strong relationship rider-crew chief in the whole paddock.
Jonathan's first test couldn't come soon enough, and he eventually rode the ZX-10R for the first time at Aragon in Spain in November 2014.
Everybody remembers their first lap on a new bike, and mine was no different. I remember Aragon rolling out of the pits and turning in like T1, T2, T3. I thought, this bike is so easy to ride. And I got to T5 and the smile on my face, I could see it inside the helmet. I was so happy. And it was at that point, halfway around on my opening lap, I knew I could fight for the World Championship.
A new chapter was about to open. Next time on Jonathan Rea, a new chapter.
I have not left my previous team to come and sign for Kawasaki and finish 5th.
Been a class above the rest, he deserves this.
It's not only one bike, it's not only one rider, it's many, many things together.
It's one of them where I want to come back for next week and beat him.
After 7 years with the rival manufacturer, Jonathan Rea had made a leap of faith to join the Kawasaki racing team for the 2015 World Superbike Championship. While Jonathan's first test on the Kawasaki ZX-10R told him that he'd made the right choice, there was still work to be done. The Kawasaki racing team arrived in Australia with an intense program for a 2-day test ahead of the opening round of the 2015 championship.
Going into Phillip Island, I knew I could do a good job. It's one moment that sticks in my head when my team manager came to me before the race. He reassured me that a top 5 was an acceptable result here because the ZX-10R had never won in previous seasons at Phillip Island. I was blown away. I was like, hey man, I have not left my previous team to come and sign for Kawasaki and finish 5th.
It will be Jonathan Rea that just goes across the line to win the opening race of 2015.
For me, the first races was like whirlwind. We went to Thailand, a stop-start track, and I did a double there in dominant fashion.
He does the double here in Thailand. Jonathan Rea has been a class above the rest, he deserves this.
It wasn't until we got to Aragon, more European-style track with a lot of different character. A track where we really struggled in November testing, and we won the first race against Chaz.
Jonathan Rea who takes race 1 here in Aragon.
And then we moved on to Imola and had another double there. It was like the snowball kept building. It was incredible.
Jonathan Rea wins and takes the double win here in Imola.
The reality is when you arrive on a new team, when you arrive after 5-6 years working with another team, another bike, you cannot put your goals and objectives too far away, otherwise maybe you miss the focus on the real job you have to do.
He's just matured as a person, as a man, as a husband. He became a father, and he just became a lot more settled in his own self of what he wanted and what he thought he could achieve.
It's not only one bike, it's not only one rider, it's many, many things together, and it seems like we put all in the right place, and it's working really, really good.
He knows who he is as a racer as well as a person and as a man, and it's night and day really compared to what he was when I met him.
The British flags are flying here.
Even at the early stage of the season, the championship looked like Jonathan's to lose, but the 2013 World Superbike champion on the Kawasaki team's other ZX-10R had something to say about that when the series got to the UK round at Donington Park.
For me, it's so hard to get beat by a teammate because you have equal equipment. He's got the same bike and shoes, same suspension, same tyres.
There's a dazzling display from Tom Sykes here at Donington Park.
It was hard, hard to recover from that mentally because I'd had such a strong start. It's one of them where I wanted to come back for next week and beat him, and it's that kind of feeling that drives it drives the whole team.
Almost the halfway point of the season. Look how quick he's coming into turn 3 there. Championship leader, 101 point lead. When that crash that we mentioned at the bike goes hurtling into the gravel.
Despite a high-speed crash in Superpole, Jonathan was back to winning ways with his 4th double of the season in Portugal, maintaining his 100% podium record at Misano in Italy and Laguna Seca in the USA.
Moving into Sepang, there was a, let's say, mathematical chance I could win the championship. When we went in race 1 and I won the race, it was kind of from the 3rd row of the grid. It was like, Thanks, man.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Tom had a 5th place and really struggled with tyre wear at the end, so we thought, hey, if he only finishes 4th in this next race and I can win and beat Chaz, we can win here.
Will we be crowning him champion at the end of this race?
Sure, first gear is better because it gives you the attack.
Yeah, and let me stop as well.
It lets you stop better. That's another point.
Do you want to know his lap and your lap? If it's same situation as now?
Good start from Sykes. Jonathan Ray late on the brakes. Tony, that's close! And Biaggi goes out of the race. If Jonathan Ray wins this race, he's the World Superbike champion. We enter the final lap in Sepang. Here he comes. Jonathan Ray pulls alongside.
And I mean, the last corner came down to a battle between me or Chaz, and if I won the race, we were champion.
Is for the championship.
Braked as hard as I could brake.
They touch. They do touch. And Chaz Davies here, and Jonathan will race to the line. Who will get it? It's going to be close.
Jonathan was 6 weeks away from the next World Superbike round at Jerez in Spain and just 6 points away from getting both hands on that championship trophy. To pass the time, he returned to his first love, the gateway through which he took his first steps towards the highest level of motorcycle sport, motocross.
This season, how I conditioned myself was a lot more in the motocross bike, going back to having fun again in my roots. I wait till the sun comes out and I ride my bicycle and have a great day, or we spend the day in the workshop fettling my motocross bike and go and have a belter of a day at the sand track we ride in. I find this season I've been really strong at the end of races, so it's what works for you, and right now this season I think we've hit the nail on the head.
Next time on Jonathan Ray, a new chapter.
It's only 1:30 in my day.
He was the guy back then that was so dominant.
Don't let him to go much if you have good feeling.
Pole positions, fastest laps. It's been an incredible journey.
Jonathan Ray dominating this World Superbike Championship in 2015.
Having jumped on the Kawasaki ZX-10R for the 2015 World Superbike Championship, Northern Irishman Jonathan Ray was totally dominating the season.
To seal the deal in Phillip Island in my first ever race in the ZX-10R to win was, beyond all my expectations, and it's a moment that I still look back on as the highlight of the year.
Heading into the summer break after round 10 in Malaysia, Jonathan and his tight-knit KRT crew had an incredible 100% podium record, winning 12 races out of 20 and finishing second in all but 2 of the others.
I grew up in schoolboy motocross, and my dream back then was to go to the US and ride Supercross. And
the very start, I was racing at the same time, but I was coming down in my career, and my father died and started looking after the business. The motocross gave me a real inspiration to get away from the sport, because it is like a drug. We were travelling up and down England, doing Irish and Ulster championships, and it was just good fun for the whole family.
I always looked up to Jeremy McGrath. He was the guy back then that was so dominant. This season I got to go and ride with him after the Laguna race. We went down to California, and he's now watching Superbike and respects what I'm doing, but maybe he doesn't realise that he was an inspiration to me when I was so young, and maybe if I hadn't been given this opportunity to go the road racing route, for sure I'd still be racing motocross somewhere in the world. Jerez was a weekend of mixed emotions, because I knew, barring any stupidity on my behalf or mechanical issues, which we've stayed clear of, and we were going to win the championship there.
To manage the race, but if in the beginning you have good feeling, don't let him to go much if you have good feeling, okay?
Superb start though for both of the Kawasaki. Sykes leads, Ray second.
Jonathan Ray's Kawasaki, so good on the exit there.
I remember clear as day now passing the finish line and seeing all my crew on the pit wall with the world champion pit board.
Jonathan Ray was the 2015 World Superbike champion, Northern Ireland's first motorcycling world champion since 1968, and in a very personal but fitting tribute, used that special moment to honor two of his country's biking
It
heroes.
was important for me, and the biggest moment in my career, to pay tribute to two world champions from my country. The most recent before me, Joey Dunlop and Brian Reed, 29 years ago. I got the exact genuine helmets.
Jonathan Rea dominating this World Superbike Championship.
For me, on race day at Jerez in the morning, I was near sick. The relief in every one, it was unbelievable, and the emotion was unbelievable.
It's a fantastic year. Seems like we put all in the right place and it's working really, really good. This is why the results comes and Johnny can show exactly the potential as a rider.
The season has been so many good memories, and we've had so many double wins at events that highlight the year, so many race wins and pole positions, fastest laps. It's been an incredible journey.
Just before the final round of the 2015 season, Kawasaki unveiled the 2016 ZX-10R, developed jointly by KRT and Kawasaki. The launch served to underline the commitment that Kawasaki has to the championship, to its customers, and to the future of supersports motorcycling.
Kawasaki launched the current model of the ZX-10. It was clear from the start that it was a really good base bike. Now 2015, we're already launching a new model for 16, which is going to give us that next step.
2016 bike is improvement of previous one. We input to production division quite a lot. The direction to go suitable for superbike.
Expecting to see how both riders can develop the bike for 2016, and I'm sure the competition will be even more.
Look forward to lining up at Phillip Island for round one on the new 2016 ZX-10R.
The best moment, I think, still needs to come. It's not yet arrived, so I expect the 2016 season really exciting.
They say success breeds success. For Jonathan Rea and the Ninja ZX-10R, 2016 looks set to be the next chapter of an enthralling superbike story.